I see you right in there. Hey, y'all, what's going on? It's Brian Forbes. Not now. And this is Inside Steppin. I want to welcome everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. For coming in, tuning in, hanging out, and kicking it with your boy, Brian Forbes. And then just so y'all know, when I say with your boy, I just want y'all to know that I am mimicking a tribute to my man, Tony Adway, who I'm going to continue to encourage to return to the stepping media side of the game. I'm gonna keep messing with him until he do, y'all, cause that's my guy, huh? Yeah, well, he ain't doing it like he used to. We gonna get him back in the game. We want my man Tony Adway back. Anyway, hey Val, I see you. Hey, see you, Riri in the building. I see you. I see you. I see you. Y'all coming through. That's what's happening. Um, so look, y'all. Tonight's show is gonna be a light one. We are currently in preparation to get ready for Harlem Nights out there in Long Beach. We will be there on this coming weekend. Hey, Vonda Powell, I see you. Good evening. Sylvia Perry in the building. We're going to be going out to Long Beach this weekend to participate in Harlem Nights, and we will be bringing you that broadcast live and in living color, y'all. How we do. Um, so before, what you say? Okay. So what that mean? Okay. Yeah, okay. So the producer lady said, y'all remember, see Wands, I see you. Y'all be sure to remember that when we're broadcasting from California, that there is a time difference, and that is a fact. So let's, keep that in mind. I see you, Jody Nickerson, in the building. Um, and she's right. So, and here's the reason why that is a thing. When we broadcast particularly on the West Coast, is really interesting because last year when we did Jules and Gents, I am thankful to say that we had people who were on the East Coast, and we were talking about a 3-hour time difference. And we had people that were on the East Coast literally kicking it with us all night long. Those parties didn't end till sometimes 1, 2 in the morning. But if you out in New York, which we did have some New Yorkers and some East Coast folks on the live, they literally were up at 4, 3, 4, and 5 in the morning while we were still doing the thing at the after parties and things like that, and they hung with us. So that's always a beautiful thing. You said, and
they also saw the videos of the event and said they were going. It
yes.
looked like it was off the
Oh
chain.
yeah, no doubt. Well, producer lady said, and they saw the events and they said that they were going to be participating in the coming year, and that's partly why we do what we do too, because we like to give um, exposure to those events. That's part of what Inside Stepping does. We give exposure to those events that otherwise people wouldn't know about or see. So it's always a good thing when we can do that. Um, and we want to be able to do that. David Calhoun in the building, and my man right there. Um, we want to be able to make sure that the rest of the world gets an opportunity to see things that you may not otherwise get to see because you may not be available to travel at that time. Your funds may not be there, and for whatever other reasons, health, and there's a lot of reasons why everybody don't make it to a lot of sets, and that's something to be understood, which is partly what we're going to talk about tonight. And what I mean is in regard to the love we need to start showing one another in this Steppers community. There is a lot of it, and I'm happy to say that I've witnessed quite a bit here in these last few days, few weeks, and I'm gonna talk about it, and I want to talk about what we need to be doing to benefit ourselves individually and the community as a whole, collectively, because we do need to be putting in work. Andrew Antonio Allen, Triple A, is in the building, my man. Um, so it becomes necessary that sometimes we shouldn't have to, I guess, say these things, but sometimes some stuff does need to be said just so we can say we said it, even though we already understand it. But a lot of times I'm also preaching to the choir, and we don't want to preach to the choir. We want to talk to the people who need to hear it. And I am fortunate that there are people who come to this particular network, this YouTube channel, this Facebook page, in order to be enlightened, sometimes educated, and if nothing else, motivated. So, because we're going to do those three things if we don't do anything else. Um, I want to talk about what we need to be doing collectively in order to spread more love in our community. I don't know if I've gotten mature. I don't know if I've gotten tired. I haven't made my mind up yet. Which one of those things is happening? Hey, Lanicia Holcomb, I see you. I don't know which one of those things is happening for me, but I can say this. I'm going to try as hard as I can to spread that energy. And that energy is so very important, man. It's so important to all of us that we exercise good energy and that we come to the sets with good energy because it spreads like a virus. And you can tell who the people are who have the good energy and those who have the bad. And, I just know that things would be so much sweeter with us if we just all worked harder to extend our good energy to one another. I see you, Miss Mary, in the building. Valeria Connor, there you are. And I know that some of us are going through things. I had a conversation this afternoon with DJ Shorty Smooth, and he had me kind of laughing because one of the analogies that I like to use about the Steppers community is that it's like a hospital. And a lot of people come here for therapy. And sometimes there's so many sick people around us that if we're not careful, we also become sick. But he pointed out to me, he said, no, it's more like a detox than he compared it to a detox and a rehab. He said, when you're in a hospital or at a rehab, you at least know that you have a problem and you want to correct it. He said, Steppin is more like a detox because you go there and you don't think you got a problem. Even though you need fixing, you don't think you got a problem, so you just kind of go, I'm cool, and I'm gonna keep going. And I don't care who you are. We all have our own issues. We all have our problems. Bessie Taylor, I see you. Thank you for checking in. We all have our issues. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care how much money you don't have. I don't care how healthy you are or how healthy you aren't. We all have something that we have to contend with on a daily basis. This dance allows us to oftentimes be able to move around, circumvent, or otherwise forget about some of the things that we have to deal with on a day-to-day. So that's a beautiful thing. But while we're doing that, it's better if we feel as though what we're going through is going to infect others if we don't bring that energy to the game. I don't want to ever come to a stepper set feeling so bad about something or feeling some kind of way that the things that I do or say cause other people pain or grief. I don't want to do that. And I would ask that each and every one of you also exercise that same discipline. Be able to bring good energy, or if nothing else, encourage someone else. I find that when I'm down or I'm going through something myself, I feel better when I help somebody else through their pain and their problems. So, if nothing else, if we can't always be what we need to be for ourselves, let's be something or somebody to someone else. Because although we may not always be everything to everybody, we might be everything to that one person in that moment. Because again, we're all going through something and we should all take that under consideration when we treat one another with ill-mannered feelings and behaviors. We can do a lot better, y'all. We could do a lot better. Reggie Miles say, I promise to be better and get better with what I do despite what I'm going through. Reggie Miles, thank you for that. Thank you for those words, because that is absolutely what I'm talking about. And Reggie Miles is a poster child for somebody that's going through some things. Here's a man who has recently lost a spouse, who was raising a teenage daughter on his own and contending with all of the nonsense and the drama that we go through on a daily basis in this Steppers community. And he chooses to do that. And he is an example because he is constantly trying to help an entire community of people to be better through his own pain and grief. And for me, that goes hard. That goes a long way. And that's something we could all take a lesson from. Regina Deans, I see you. Thank you for checking in. C. Marie McClanahan, thank you. So these are the things that we need to be paying attention to. And see, a lot of this stuff we don't know. You don't know. I'm saying this because Reggie has been pretty public about his situation. Some people are public about their scenarios. I wasn't going to discuss this topic, and I'm still really not, but I want to use, for example, my girl Tori. You know, Tori has gone through some medical things in the last year, and she unfortunately had to deal with a situation over this weekend that, you know, I'm not going to speak on because I don't know the details of it. I know what I was told, but no matter what happened, the entire situation could have been avoided, and it definitely could have not been made public. And what I don't want to see is that we consistently give the entire community and this whole game a black eye by bickering and going back and forth with one another, or putting people in positions that they should not necessarily be put in. We don't know what people are going through. We just don't. And some things just are not necessary. I've gone through some recent situations right here in San Antonio with some people, with some unscrupulous, divisive, and otherwise people with low moral turpitude and no integrity. But I'm not the guy that I used to be, and I'm thankful for that. I was told I shouldn't move the way that I'm moving because I'm a soldier. I'm supposed to put up a fight. And sometimes people don't understand that the fight that you put up is not what we customarily would recognize as a fight. It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be what you recognize as a fight. It can oftentimes be the fight that works best for you. And just because others don't recognize it, they would like to make a play on your ego. Well, you can't do that to me. My ego is mine, and I will exercise it when it's necessary, if it's necessary. When we have better control over ourselves, it makes it so much easier to cohabitate and coexist with everyone else in this community. When you take under account that there are other people that have things going on in their lives, and everything is not about you, then you understand. Everything that I've done in this community here in this city has specifically been for the nurturing and the growth of this community. While at the same time, I have plenty of people, well, I won't say plenty of people, a few people here who work diligently to undermine everything that I do. And I ask myself why that is. I'm not a bad person. And I realize, and see, this is me going outside of my own ego because I could retaliate, but I'll realize that it has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with them. It's their problem that's really bugging them. It's not me. But I'm going to continue doing what I do. And until they deal with themselves, fortunately, I'm past the point where I care. So I'm good. And it makes it great. It makes it so much easier for me to function and flow and continue to do what I do and be consistent in it. And I'm using this as an example to show you, the rest of the Steppin public, the rest of the Steppin world, that you can do the same thing. Everything that goes on in our community does not need to be addressed. Everything that in our community does not need to have another word put on it. Let some people have the last word. In their mind, they're victorious. In their mind, they did everything and said everything that they needed to say and do. I learned that when you learn to understand those around you, it becomes that much easier to deal with them. And you realize, like I have, that it really has nothing to do with you. It has more to do with them. The unfortunate part, like my man DJ Shorty Smooth said to me, is that these are people who are in detox because the only thing they think is that I'm a little sick because I can't get my fix. So I got to do something. Okay, but I'm cool. Let me up out of here. It ain't till you get to rehab when you realize that you got a problem, because then you're admitting that you need help. Some people can never admit that they need help because their egos are so inflated and they live such a poor existence that they're going to continue to walk this earth in pain, silently. But their pain shows in their behaviors and their actions. So when we see those things happen, Reggie Miles, absolutely. Sometimes walking away is a victory. That's right. When we see these people in this type of pain, don't get angry with them. There's nothing to be angry about because the true pain, the real anger is within them. They don't need you to lump on top of the anger that they got. And sometimes people are looking, they want to get triggered. They're looking for you to give them that negative attention that they desire. And when you do that, you feed that troll, you feed that beast. Don't feed the beast. Let the beast die. The beast will die. It's only a matter of time. In these last few days, and by the way, let me, I want to talk about a couple of things. And I know there's more stuff that has happened. Let me give a shout out to my man, Kevin Doc Dockery. Doc, shouts out to him for creating in his class an opportunity for more men to come into this game. He said to the ladies, and I'm putting this out there for everybody else so that you all know, for my audience, I want to spread his message as much as I can. He said, ladies, if you bring a man with you to his class, your class is free. I think that is a phenomenal move. And I want to say that is a gesture of goodwill, and it helps to build the community. Doc don't care nothing about that money to come with them lessons. Doc cares about the community and this dance and his love for the dance. And it shows in a gesture like that. I want to give a shout out to Eric Gordon. He had an event this following weekend that was a charity event, an opportunity for young students to get scholarships and be able to go to school. Shouts out. See, I'm talking about all the good stuff, y'all. I'm talking about, for example, my wife, we celebrated part of her birthday this weekend. Because y'all know she celebrates all month. So this weekend we had, all year. The producer lady say all year. So let me say that here on this weekend we had a stepper / house party that was successful. We had a fantastic time. We had the opportunity to expose some people here in San Antonio to not only the stepping culture, some of them, but to house music. And we had some house DJs. My man DJ Red out of Chicago, who lives here now. DJ Santiago out of New York, who is a beast. Man, listen, they tore that spot up. We had a great time. But I want to give a shout out to my man Dominique and his wonderful wife Tiffany, my man Nike and his beautiful wife Crystal, who just showed up out of nowhere, just popped in on us at this event. My girl Jackie and Juanita, who popped in from Houston, another shocker. They just showed up, y'all. This is the kind of love I'm talking about. These are people who care enough about us and what we're trying to do in our community to travel and just pop in and say, hey, man, much love. And I got mad respect for these people, not just because they showed up here, but because these are people whom I respect, whom respect me. And that goes a long way, which for me brings our next, that is the perfect segue into where I want to go with this next. And that being, I want everyone to understand, and I spoke about this last week when we had Hey Fred on the show. I want y'all to understand something. There are two kinds of people in our community. I don't want to condemn one and praise the other, but I do want to point out that there is a difference between building relationships and clout chasing and social climbing. Building relationships is a beautiful thing, especially when you're building with people with the kind of energy that my man Nike and my man Dominique have. When I'm in a room with two solid ass men, I'm talking about some real men, some cats who don't have access to grind, who are not out here trying so hard to be something in somebody by demeaning others or tearing down, but yet building up. These are the kind of men I want to be around. These are the kind of men we should all want to be around. It is my honor to have been able to share and break bread with these brothers. Even though I've done it before, it's just sometimes you know you're in good company. See, that goes back to what I'm talking about, that good energy, that good vibe when you're around people that are real, when you're around people who don't have nothing to prove to nobody. And if they do decide they want to prove something to somebody, they get out here and they prove it without the destruction of others. See, they don't have to tear down someone else. They don't have to take down someone else to be who they are. We can all learn from that. If you see, one thing I got to say, y'all, nobody can be a better you than you. Do you realize how amazing so many of you really are, but you don't know it because you're too busy trying to be like someone else? Let that go. You'd be amazed at what you can do and what you can accomplish. Man, do you understand how much more powerful we all would be collectively if people would just be themselves? Margaret Taylor says, relationships, responsibility, and regulation is the book study our staff is using to foster a better environment in our school. We adults have learned so much about ourselves. Absolutely. Thank you. And Reggie Miles says, absolutely, your gift will make room for you. Yes, it will. And see, we have to take that responsibility for our individual selves. We have to check our egos at the door sometimes. And just because you don't, people make the mistake of worrying way too much about what someone else thinks and using other people for validation. I'm saying all of this because I want you to understand that regardless of how positive all of us try to be, there's going to always be some individuals in our midst who have ulterior motives that are not positive, that are not motivating, that are not going to benefit the collective community. However, and it is unfortunate that we oftentimes support a lot of these people unknowingly, because some people are so very manipulative that they know how to play people. Well, we can't avoid them. Don't try. Do what you do. Be who you are. Enjoy what they are presenting, but steer clear of the nonsense and the BS. We do not have to entertain every little thing that goes on. Every time, and during the conversation that I had with DJ Shorty Smooth today, we got to talking about different events. And we got to talking about the love that gets shown, because unfortunately, sometimes people don't get shown the love that they maybe should at their event. My theory is this. There's some love to be shown at every event where a promoter has good intentions. Because unfortunately, we do have promoters who don't have good intentions. But when a promoter has good intentions and they're trying their best, just remember, everybody is not where you are. We are not all in the same place. We have walked different walks. Each and every one of our journeys has been different, although we may have shared the same space. We've had different conversations. We've had different connections and different alignments through that process. So no, everybody is not where you are. So your idea of good may not be the next person's idea of good, and vice versa when it comes to bad. However, I know this. I haven't promoted a large event myself as yet, and it is coming, y'all, for 24. But know this. For every event that there is, there's something there to love. There's somebody there to love. There's something in that event where the positivity can reign supreme, where we can coexist in a place where the energy remains good. Every event has its challenges. Every event has its problems. It doesn't matter who you are. I don't care if it's the world's largest down to the smallest club party in your city on a Friday night. Every event has its issues. Do we really need to point out every little thing that goes on and is wrong? See, the problem is people love a train wreck. They don't want to look, but they don't want to look away. And when you entertain those sorts of conversations and that sort of publicity, that travels faster than the good stuff. In a business class I took many, many years ago, probably in my early 20s, I learned that if, let's say you own a restaurant and the steak was bad that day, more people will leave your restaurant and tell how bad the steak was than will leave your restaurant and say how good it was. Why are we like that? Why is human nature set that way? But guess what? We have a brain, y'all. We have the ability to think, and we can also say, I didn't need to say that. I'm not going to go, oh my God, the steak was horrible. Oh, I don't ever go there. But how many times that the same, in the same vein, people will not say, oh man, the steak was great. You got to go there. They won't say that as fast as they will talk about how bad it was. People they love attention. People love to be the center of attention, and that gets them the attention. So sometimes we have these stepper sets, and people will run out there and they will say things about, well, that promoter did this and that joker did that. And I can say that even I am guilty of it. And in the time when I did do that, I had great reason for it. And I'm not justifying it. And I'm not justifying it for anyone else. But just know that on the majority of cases, because that's not something I do, but in this particular case, it was warranted. But let me say this. We have an opportunity to grow ourselves, grow this dance by being positive, by remembering that everybody puts in an effort. You think these people go out here and spend all this money to book hotels, book venues, make sure that your experience is a good one, make sure that their events is set apart from others so that it's not just another humdrum stepper set. Make sure that you are accommodated in the best possible way that you can be when you come to their city, when you come to their event. Yes, some people put in more effort than others. Some are deliberate, some are not. Some just don't know any better. But if you have something to say to an individual, a promoter, or somebody, you ain't got to go out here and blast it. You don't have to get on a show like Inside Steppin and say, oh, it was trash. I probably wouldn't let you do that anyway. But you don't have to do that. What you can do is pick up the phone and call that promoter or that person, if they're willing to talk to you, and say, hey, look, I attended your event and it was a great event. However, I had a couple of things that didn't really sit well with me. And I just want to give you some food for thought in order that on your next event, maybe, just maybe, think about these things. There's a way to say everything. There's a way to do everything. It doesn't hurt to pull somebody's coat. See, because what I explained to you a minute ago about that restaurant is this. Those people will run out and blast to the world that the steak was bad that day. But in most cases, they won't come to the manager or to the owner and say, hey, listen, maybe, I don't know, maybe you're just having a bad night. Maybe you had a shift change. Maybe the cook didn't come in tonight. I don't know. But my steak was raw. My steak was overcooked. Whatever the case was. And allow them to have an opportunity to correct it before we go and just blast to the world that it's trash. We can do that for our promoters. We can do that for the people who put forth such an effort to put on these events. We can do that. It's just that we have to think about it before we do. And sometimes we speak long before we think. What comes up comes out. And that's not always a good thing. Some people are proud of that and they wear it as a badge of honor. But it's not cute. And it's something that we can definitely correct. And I think that we should. I think that we should make a stronger effort to lift one another in our community of dance than we should to tear each other down. I think that we should a lot of times remove our personal feelings from some of the things that go on in our community and just try and think about the other person for a change. You don't have to criticize every individual who dances. Oh, I don't like the way that person dances. I don't like the way that person dances. Without getting too far off into a history lesson, I can tell you this. When I was coming up in Steppin, although there absolutely is a format that and it was really an unwritten format that we stuck to as we danced together coming up. Just understand that in that process, people danced all different kinds of ways. People had all kinds of styles. They had all kinds of flavor, all kinds of flair. Why do you think you hear some of the names that you do now that go down in the history of this dance? Names that you've only heard because you don't know these people. And the reason you don't know some of these people is because they've passed on. May their souls rest in peace as pioneers in this dance. But the point is that they had their own style. They had their own way of doing things. Now, to quote L.A. Chase, unfortunately, if you cut the heads off of a lot of these dancers, you couldn't tell who was who because people do not exercise their own individuality within the dance, and that's something that we should do. But whether you do or you don't have to talk about what that person did or isn't doing in their dance. Because guess what? Whatever they just did, that's their dance. It belongs to them. That's how they felt with each step that they took. And that includes you. That includes me. Everything we do is not going to be to the book, to the letter, to the step. That's not how this game goes. It never was that way. This is a new phenomenon. This is something that came up in the last 20 or 25 years. We've been doing this 50 years. This was not a thing where you walk. I'm going to put it to you like this. Back when we go to the 50-yard line, I'm sorry, not the 50-yard line. When we would go to east of the Rhine, I wish you would come in there criticizing somebody's dance. And trust me when I tell you, baby, you see some crazy stuff in there. You see some cats dancing their ass off. But you'll never see them looking like everybody else because they are individuals. And I would love for us to be more of ourselves in this dance than we are of someone else. What? Yes. Producer lady makes a very good point. On Sunday, we watched the steppers contest take place, a grab bag contest take place in Indiana. And a lot of people were there doing their thing. And there was a lot of individuality in those dances. Part of the reason why when we watch these competitions, the world's largest in Texas Heat and some of the other in the Milwaukee competition, one thing you need to remember, when you wonder why these people win and why these people are who they are, why people love them so much, guess why? Because they don't look like the rest of y'all. See my point? Everybody has their own style, just like we have our own fingerprints. Live in that. And don't be ashamed of it. Don't apologize to nobody for dancing your dance. That's not something we ever did coming up in this game. Don't you do it now. There's a freedom in what we do. Live in that. It's a beautiful thing. One of the last things I want to say tonight, because I said I was going to keep this show light, because we're packing actually to get ready for Harlem Nights in LA. We'll be out there next weekend. I would like to see, and this includes the men and the women, I would love to see more of us have mentorship. not only find a mentor, but be a mentor. Because we're not all in the same place, and I don't necessarily just mean for the dance, but because we don't all have the same experiences, there are those around us who we could benefit from, who could show us a thing or two and teach us a thing or two and tell us a thing or two. And there are those whose egos are so large that they won't hear what some of us have to say. However, I challenge everyone to, if you do nothing else, at least listen sometimes. Because, you ever had that friend that leave the house, dress some kind of way, and somebody say, that person don't have no friends because they let them come out like that. Be that friend. Be the one that speaks up for that person and says, hey, look, maybe you need to tighten your game up a little bit. Fellas, I can say this. I am fortunate. I am so fortunate to have a few men around me. When they see my slip hanging, I get a tap on the shoulder. Hey, bruh, that's a bad look. Hey, bruh, don't do that. Hey, man, maybe you should. Maybe you shouldn't. Whatever the case may be. We could all benefit from something like that. And I think we need to work harder at doing that for one another, even though we all have our walks in life. And yes, Steppin is a microcosm of a macro world. I think that we can pull each other up a lot faster and a lot further if we just find it in our hearts to learn to collaborate and work together. Do you realize we got so many Steppers events going on every single week? Think about this. What would it be like if two powerful promoters got together and did an event? Just as an example, we had the collaboration this year of GDI and the Majestic Gents White Party happened down in Florida. That was a great collaboration. What would it be like if more people did that rather than everybody going out individually trying to struggle with one another? What would it be like if we helped one another? What would it be like if we were all able to try and help and participate with one another to make the collective dance and community better? And I'm going to just say this, and this may sound negative, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. If you're trying to make Steppin your source of income, you need to get a job. If you're so greedy and hell bent on making Steppin pay you that you can't figure out what I'm talking about right now, you probably need to get a job. Okay? This is not something that you're going to make a career off of. I've said this a million times. I'm going to continue to say it. Stop it. If you're going to be that bent out of shape that you ain't getting rich off of Steppin, you probably shouldn't be in this as a business. Stop it. Just stop. And let's get together and let's enjoy these parties and these events. It's a party, y'all. It's a dance. We supposed to be having fun. We supposed to be having the time of our life. Well, I'm gonna put it to you this way. I'm enjoying the hell out of myself. But I'm just saying. What?
We don't have to worry about babysitters.
That's right. I ain't got to worry about babysitters. I'm an empty nester. I ain't got them problems. But my point is, we could do better, y'all. And sometimes people need to have attitude adjustments. A lot of very disrespectful things have been said and done in the last, forever, but in the last couple of years. I know that if we just drag each other to the table some kind of way, I know we can talk about it. I know we can work out our differences, whatever they are. I know we can. But just remember this. Honesty is required. Transparency is a requirement. Some people have a problem with these things. And my thing is this. If you're going to give the game a black eye, just stop. Step away. Move on. Get out of it. Dance and be quiet. Just don't open your mouth. Dance and enjoy that part. All the other stuff, it's not necessary. When this becomes difficult, where you in your feelings, and you ready to fight, and I have been one ready to fight and you got issues with people around you and around this dance, step away. Just step away and come back when you have a better attitude. Listen, y'all, I ain't perfect. I'm a work in progress. I really am. And as time goes on, I'm learning just as much about me as I am you. And I also understand where my battles lie. I know how to choose them, and I choose them wisely. All I want you all to be able to do is enjoy this dance, enjoy one another, respect each other if you do nothing else. Just do that part. That goes so much further than the negativity, the backbiting, the infighting, the nonsense, the criticisms. We can do better. Now, I don't want to seem like I'm on here, y'all, lecturing nobody. But I just felt tonight that we needed to have this little heart to heart. Something that I said tonight, somebody needed to hear. Now, I don't know who it was. I don't know what part it was. But I do know somebody needed what I just gave. And I hope and I pray that it sinks in. I want you all to have good energy, if not for anybody else, but for yourself. And enjoy what we have. What did you say, baby?
I don't even remember.
She don't even remember. Anyway, I want to say this before I go. Ladies and gentlemen, in support of the show, whenever you get an opportunity, if you don't already have one of these, don't forget to get your Inside Steppin t-shirts. We have those on sale. We will be bringing some to California with us, by the way, so y'all get ready for that. We got Inside Steppin shoe bags, y'all. A little bag for your shoes. Just a tote bag for your shoes. Or a grocery bag. Yeah, I didn't even think of that, baby. That's a good idea.
No plastic.
We got your fellas, ladies, even when you're on the floor, you get a little sweaty. We got your Inside Steppin hand towels. You wipe your brow. You know what I'm saying? Keep yourself nice and dry. And we also have, because some of y'all are up there where it's real cold at, we got them Inside Steppin hoodies for you now, Jack. That's what's up. Inside Steppin hoodies.
And we have the jogging pants.
And the jogging pants to match them, but we're out of those at the moment. But
we can still place an order.
yes, you can always place an order. So I'm saying all of these things, you guys, and also don't forget, for those of you who, and thank all my donations, my people who donate. I appreciate y'all so much. And for those of you who want to donate in the future, you see the thing down in the right-hand corner says Inside Steppin with the $sign. That is our Cash App. And I want to thank all of you for being a part of making Inside Steppin what it is. And we're going to continue to try to grow and bring you the best presentations that we absolutely can, especially in the remote situations where you can watch and be entertained by these events from a distance. Let me give you all some more food for thought. We will be in LA or Long Beach this weekend for Harlem Nights. If you've never been to Harlem Nights, you just had to throw that in there, didn't you? Producer lady's birthday is Saturday, so we will be celebrating her birthday at Harlem Nights. All you guys have to do is go on your smart TV. And I'm telling you this because it is a much better experience than using your cell phone or a tablet. Go to your smart television. Download the YouTube app if you don't already have it. Go to Inside Steppin on YouTube. Subscribe. And when these events are going on, as we're covering them, you will have an opportunity to watch the parties happen right in front of your eyes and from the comfort of your couch. So get ready for that. Always prepare for Inside Steppin on your YouTube channel so you can watch it at home on your TV. I had a lady at our last event when we did Texas. She said she was sitting there on her 85-inch TV watching Inside Steppin, and she had a fantastic time. She said she was dancing in the living room, had her drinks and everything right there in front of her, and was able to get it in. So y'all have the opportunity to take advantage of that sort of thing too. So I want you to do that. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wait a minute. Okay. You
Some of the people that's on there that are from Chicago, we have a San Antonio family member is coming. They need some assistance. Nowhere to go.
Who's coming? I didn't know nothing about that.
Going to Chicago.
Okay. Ladies, my Chicago people, we have one of our San Antonio's own will be coming to Chicago, and she will be needing guidance. Who to go and where to go. Be her first time in the city. So reach out to me if you're willing to assist this young lady. If not, I'll be reaching out to some of y'all. Tell y'all, look out for my girl. You dig? Could be her first time in the city.
And then you had some comments.
Really? Producer lady, she all over me, y'all. She said I got some comments.
Shirley said, "Amen. Going out, stepping takes my pain away, and misery needs no company. This
Okay.
is truly therapeutic."
I
Gotta
thought
read your
we need
comments.
questions. I can't read every comment,
Oh,
baby. You know how many comments we got up here? You see this? There's a lot of comments.
okay, well, that's a beautiful thing.
Listen, y'all, I appreciate
Tell
all
Lala happy
y'all
birthday.
for
I have nothing else
oh,
to say.
Lala birthday? When Lala
It was
birthday? Lala happy
it was
birthday,
last
Lala.
week. She's Scorpio.
Oh dang, I missed it. Oh man. Come on, Lala. Okay, Casper, I'm gonna reach out to you. I'll tell you who she is. Her name is Deborah. Um, with all of this said, look, y'all, if for the comments I didn't read and the things that you all said, you know I thank you and I love you. And anything that I didn't necessarily get, because producer lady expects me to be Superman over here.
You are
Um,
Superman, bro.
yeah, whatever. Charges to my head and not to my heart. Y'all know I love you and I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. And I want to always be able to provide you with quality content. Thank you so much. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I want everyone to have themselves a fantastic week. Get yourselves prepared for the weekend because we will be broadcasting live right here on YouTube and on Inside Steppin on Facebook and on Twitch. You will be able to watch the entirety of the Saturday night main event of Harlem Nights, and it is a really fly event. You're going to want to check that out. All right. So, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I want everyone to have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your week. We will see you on maybe Friday, but definitely on Saturday. Have a great night. Thank you. And we are out of here.
We out of here.
We out of here. We got to go.
Good night.
Producer lady said, good night.
My voice is jacked.
Peace, y'all. Thank you.